Happy Friday, North Central Washington. Happy Friday, Wenatchee Valley. We made it to the weekend. Well, we're not there yet. Almost there. It's in sight anyway. It is Friday. It's the 9th day of August, 2019. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host. Thanks for starting your day with us and starting your weekend with us here on the NCW Life channel. It's Friday. You know what that means? It's a 5-star show. A 5-star show. Mondays and Tuesdays, we're here and we're phoning it in. I'm not going to lie to you. We do a show. Wednesdays, kind of like Mondays and Tuesdays. Thursdays, we lean forward a little bit, try a little bit harder to put together a good show for you. And then on Friday, it's a 5-star show because it's Friday. But it's actually a 5-star show. Talking AppleSox baseball with the head coach of the Wenatchee AppleSox, Kyle Krustangel. We went and visited Kyle at Paul Thomas Senior Field a couple of days ago and visited with him. Of course, the AppleSox are red hot, except they lost last night. In fact, they got creamed last night, but it's not that big of a deal. They've already punched their ticket to the postseason, but they actually lost last night for the first time at home anyway for like a month. But they're ready for the postseason. They're looking forward to it. We'll talk about AppleSox baseball. Of course, Seahawks had their first preseason game of the year last night at CenturyLink Field. They handled the Denver Broncos in a game that didn't count. Our very own sports director, Eric Granstrom, was there. He filed a report. We'll have that for you when we get to sports. Lots of news to get to, including some fascinating PTZ footage of a couple of incidents that happened yesterday afternoon in the Wenatchee Valley. That'll be our lead stories when we get to news, plus everything else you're used to, including the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays, and everybody is entitled to Mike McNaughty's opinion. And look behind my left shoulder, it's raining. Well, light rain. Anyway, I got up at 4. It was sprinkling lightly for a few times there. Earlier this morning, it was raining pretty good. It's kind of intermittent rain off and on, but we've had a big change in the weather. That high-pressure system that's been dominating our weather, giving us that super hot conditions, it's gone. It's out of here. Slow-moving, low-pressure system packing moisture and thunder and maybe a little bit of lightning has paid us a visit. It's going to hang around all weekend long. Temperatures are going to bottom out big time. We got rain. We got the possibility of thunderstorms. We have a red flag warning, which is up and about. The air quality, by the way, the air quality alert is gone. They don't have to worry about that anymore. But we're in for some very active weather around north central Washington. An in-depth weather forecast is coming up here in just a couple minutes. But let's begin where we always begin, with our tour around north central Washington with our Valley View cameras, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet. And there you go. That's not smoke. That's clouds. That's clouds and a little bit of light fog and some light rain in the Wenatchee Valley. And we need some light rain. Yeah, we need it in a big way, and we're going to get it. Intermittent showers. Again, a few thunderstorms, distinctly possibility. We're hoping for no lightning strikes. The deeper we get into the weekend, the wetter the storms are going to be. So we have a pretty good chance of intermittent showers. Some locally heavy rain, depending on where the isolated thunderstorms decide to call home for a few minutes here and there. But if you don't like the heat, you're in for some good news, because we're done with that for a while. In fact, we're going to go from temperatures well above normal to below normal by the time we get to Sunday and Saturday. Big change in the weather, and I'm all for that. Good morning, Wenatchee Valley. Good morning, Wenatchee proper, East Wenatchee proper. Can't see Sunny Slope, kind of obscured by the clouds and the fog. Let's go to camera number 2. Megan's choice, of course. She gets to decide where we're going. She says, let's go see what's happening at Arrondo Rock. Look at it. You see the raindrops are hitting the lens on our PTZ camera. I wonder if that little outcropping at the bottom of your screen is actually Arrondo Rock. Is there even something called Arrondo Rock? I mean, we have to call these cameras something. They all have a name. Usually it's a geographical location about the approximate area of where this camera is. We call this one Arrondo Rock. I don't really know if there is such a thing called Arrondo Rock. That's pointing right down the Columbia River towards the Wenatchee Valley. You can see Turtle Rock to your left. And of course, the reason they call it Turtle Rock is because it's a big rock. Camera number 3 is a view of, I'm going to say, don't tell me, that is Stamen Flats. Is that correct, Megan? That is, yeah, I think that's Stamen Flats. Yeah, that's Stamen Flats. So that's the mighty Columbia. Douglas County and that area there dominating your view for most of the screen. Wenatchee's way off into the distance. Beautiful view there of Stamen Flats. That's, of course, decision-making time on your way up 97A towards Lake Chelan. On the Chelan County side of the Columbia River, am I going to go the Navarre Coulee Road and dump myself out at the state park, or am I going to go through the Knaps Hill Tunnel and right on in to Chelan proper? By the way, the Washington State Department of Transportation is going to be holding some open houses in the next few days, including one in Antioch, because they're going to do some significant rock work along 97A. They just want to eliminate all of those slides that seem to happen every year. We'll give you more information on that next week. Camera number, let's see, 1, 2, 3. We're up to 3 now. We're going to go to 3. Is that correct, Megan? 4. This is camera 4. I'm an idiot. Well, our viewers have figured that one out by now. Help me out, Megan. That's Cole's Corner. Okay, there you go. Hi, Cole's Corner. How are you? Don't know what Cole's Corner is named after. Beautiful area there, and they've done a lot of good traffic improvements in that area, Cole's Corner, because that Lake Wenatchee cutoff to Cole's Corner, where they have the restaurants there, the Squirrel Tree and the gas station and the 59er Diner. That's pretty dangerous stuff. In fact, they had a pretty significant accident about a month ago. But they've slowed down the speed limit. They've given you a much wider latitude to turn in and out, and that makes those people up there much happier. Good morning to the greater Lake Wenatchee area. It's good to have you on board. That's our tour with our PTZ cameras, pan, tilt, zoom, lions and tigers and bears and Simon and Garfunkel. Oh my, 7 minutes after the hour. From the National Weather Service, here we go. Big forecast change coming up. It's going on right now. As a matter of fact, a slow-moving low-pressure system is bringing in clouds and thunderstorms. It's already underway. It's going to last right into the weekend. A couple of thunderstorms could produce locally heavy rain, and of course, we associate thunderstorms with lightning. So we have a red flag warning. Let's bring it up for you. Let you know what it looks like. There you go. That's pretty much all of eastern Washington. This red flag warning is on now, and it goes all the way to 6 o'clock Saturday afternoon, 6 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Again, the chance of thunderstorms increases, especially on Saturday. The occasional lightning strike is possible. Locally heavy rain. Dry lightning, that chance of dry lightning is going to be today until about noon, and then any other lightning that we are expecting or could have from Friday afternoon, this afternoon, all the way through Saturday would be associated with thunderstorms, which would be associated with heavy rain. So that would be good news. By the way, the air quality alert for the north central Washington area has expired, but it's still on for the far eastern part of our state, the Spokane area and the Idaho Panhandle. But there you go. Red flag warning is up and will continue until tomorrow afternoon. So scattered showers, thunderstorms, off and on, intermittent here and there. We're going to top off with lots of clouds today. Sun's taking the day off. Sun's taking the weekend off, for that matter. Mostly cloudy skies, about 89 degrees. Showers and thunderstorms possible tonight. About a 60% chance of something going on. We'll get down to 69 degrees. Scattered showers tomorrow. Thunderstorms, lots of clouds, high of 85. Sunday's high, only 79. That's about 10 degrees below normal. There you go. Then we get a little bit of sunshine, but cooler temperatures on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So just in time for the weekend, very active weather. Red flag warning. We're going to get some rain. Now, we need some rain. What we don't need is lightning strikes, and hopefully that's not going to be the case. But obviously the weather is very unsettled for all of north central Washington. So there you go. There's your forecast from the National Weather Service. It's 9 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break. Gives you a chance to take a quick 1-minute break. Grab your cup of coffee or whatever it is you're having for breakfast and come right back, and we'll have your Friday morning headlines for you. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, live this morning from Studio 15 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life Channel.
Hi, I'm Jim Heinlein, agent here at Senior Insurances of North Central Washington, where we help our clients navigate the Medicare world. One of the things we really enjoy doing is teaching our clients about their rights. Like, did you know that if you have a traditional Medicare supplement, you can change that monthly all year long, regardless of prior health conditions? So if you'd like to know more about your options with Medicare, you can visit us at one of our 5 local offices, as well as give us a call at 888-2600.
I told Mr. Nielsen about Simon. He's the best doctor because I like the medicines like he gives me.
He asks like more questions, and that's why I feel like he's more interested in the help. For me, it means a lot. That means he really cares about, about him.
I like you, Simon, and you're my best friend.
We're back 11 minutes after the hour on this Friday. Light rain, 65 degrees, lots of clouds. We're going to have clouds all weekend, scattered showers, the occasional stray thunderstorm, and a red flag warning has been posted and will continue to run through Saturday afternoon. Lots of clouds all weekend. Again, some scattered showers and thunderstorms for everybody in our viewing area right through till Sunday. Here's what's making headlines. And we start out with some PTZ footage that we captured yesterday afternoon. This was the scene. Look at that. This was around 4:50. This was near the Eastmont Avenue extension. This was a brush fire. Eventually, this brush fire engulfed a boat, an RV, and some bushes. A nearby home, you can see it in the frame there, was not damaged. No injuries reported. And the cause of that fire is under investigation. We'll have more on this in the news later on this afternoon, but very dramatic footage late yesterday afternoon of that fire that eventually destroyed a boat and an RV. Again, this was near the Eastmont extension, the brand new bridge that was put up a couple of years ago. We have more rather dramatic PTZ footage that we shot yesterday afternoon from our cross camera. A man suspected of assaulting a convenience store clerk Thursday afternoon in South Wenatchee, held at gunpoint by another man in the store's parking lot until police arrived, and a lot of police arrived, as you see there. Police responded at about 12:24 yesterday afternoon to what at first was a report of a man holding another man at gunpoint. Just before they arrived, they learned that the man being held had earlier thrown a can or a bottle at the store clerk, hitting that clerk in the head. This is all according to Captain Edgar Reinfeld of the Wenatchee Police Department. It started when an unidentified suspect attempted to buy alcohol without any money. When he was refused, he threw the bottle or can, then went around the counter and continued to assault the woman. He left the store. The clerk followed him out, yelled for help. Another man was pulling into the parking lot at the same time. That man said the suspect came at him as though he was going to assault him, so he reached into his vehicle for his firearm. After the suspect apparently tried to get into the man's car. He had kids inside, by the way. The man knocked the suspect to the ground, held him there with the gun. The suspect was taken to Confluence Health with injuries he suffered in the scuffle. Of course, he faces numerous charges there. Very dramatic footage. Well, good news. Washington State apple growers are expecting a big harvest this year. Projections from the Washington State Tree Fruit Association show that they expect to harvest 137.3 million 40-pound boxes of apples. I'm no expert, but that's a lot of apples. That's an 18% increase from last year's 116.7 million boxes of apples. The record, by the way, 142.3 million boxes. That was harvested 2 years ago. The Tree Fruit Association said they expect favorable summer weather meant growers are expecting a crop with excellent quality and finish. Gala will be the most harvested apple in the state, followed by Red Delicious. Honeycrisp will account for 12% of this year's crop. The new Cosmic Crisp apple will be in its first year of commercial release, and growers expect it to grow in popularity in the years ahead. Well, the Forest Service says the popularity of the Stewart Lake and 8 Mile Lake trailheads southwest of Leavenworth has simply gotten out of control, and as a result, they're going to be changing public parking rules on 8 Mile Road beginning September 3rd. No parking signs will be installed along the entire length of the road, and that means parking will only be allowed in the trailhead parking areas and pullouts along the road. Officials said it's not uncommon for cars to park along both sides of the road, and that causes access problems for emergency vehicles and conflicts between people walking to the trailheads and motorists. District Ranger Jeff Riviera said the safety of the public and Forest Service employees is the number one concern. The change will likely mean there will be no place to park for people going to the trailheads on busy days. And of course, is according to the Forest Service, they are suggesting people have someone shuttle them to the trailheads or carpool. Well, the Chelan County Commissioners claim the state's cannabis board is ignoring their concerns over the permitting of area recreational marijuana farms. The county has filed a series of appeals with the state concerning the licensing of pot growing and processing operations that don't comply with local land use rules. Commissioner Doug England says the appeals have fallen on deaf ears.
When we point out to them that their current licenses are violating our ordinances and violating our zoning, and we get back interesting responses, essentially they don't care. And so we're approaching both legislatively and then administratively trying to get them to change their opinion. We have to go through a lengthy process on each individual grow, and that takes time and that takes money, and it should be, if the state mandates that we do those kind of land use issues, that they should be supporting us when we do that. And the Cannabis Board can follow our recommendations, but they don't have to, and they've chosen not to.
Chelan County enacted new zoning rules last year that established guidelines of where pot farms can be located. The new regulations were drafted in response to nuisance complaints from neighboring property owners. Well, a newly built picnic shelter was dedicated Wednesday night at Wenatchee's Rotary Park. Wenatchee Mayor Frank Kuntz joined Rotarians at a ribbon-cutting ceremony to officially open it to the public. Funding for the project was generated through private donations. Congratulations to our friends at Rotary for making that happen. And finally, what's happening this weekend? I haven't got a clue, but Megan McPherson does.
Here's a look at what's on tap this weekend around the Wenatchee Valley. Short Shakespeareans presents The Comedy of Errors, which is being performed now through Saturday at the Riverside Playhouse. This is one of the earliest and shortest plays of William Shakespeare's career. Two sets of twins endure a montage of mistaken identities and a series of encounters with unusual characters, resulting in one wacky magical comedy. Don Fox Designs LLC, Jamie Donegan Productions, and the Numerica Pack present a 2019 Hot August Nights production inspired by true events, Hands on a Hard Body by Doug Wright, Amanda Green, and Trey Anastasio. Under a scorching sun for days on end, armed with nothing but hope, humor, and ambition, 10 hard luck Texans will fight to keep at least one hand on a brand new truck in order to win it. In the hilarious hard-fought contest that is Hands on a Hard Body, only one winner can drive away with the American dream. It's happening now through Saturday, as well as the 14th to the 17th at the Numerica Performing Arts Center. Hello Dolly is being performed at the Leavenworth Fish Hatchery this Friday at 8 p.m. Based on Thornton Wilder's novel The Matchmaker, this show follows the irrepressible Dolly Levi as she orchestrates life, adventure, and even love for her friends, finding and reclaiming her own life along the way. Hello Dolly is musical theater at its absolute finest and will be a fantastic night out under the stars. For additional show dates, visit leavenworthsummertheater.org. And finally, the Leavenworth Village Classic, The Sound of Music, is being performed at the Ski Hill Amphitheater this Saturday at 8 p.m. The story of the Von Trapp family has found a place in the hearts of everyone who sees it. Join Leavenworth Summer Theater for a truly enchanting evening under the stars as Maria sings the title song on the pine-covered hillside. For more show dates, visit leavenworthsummertheater.org. And for more information on this weekend's events and others, visit the community calendar at ncwlife.com.
Brings up the interesting question, how do you handle a problem like Maria? Never could figure that one out. 19 minutes after the hour. Don't forget we'll have the news with Grant Olson coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10. 5, 6, and 10. Grant with the news. He also handles the weather forecast. He does both, by the way, quite well. Eric Granstrom will have your sports report. Check out the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. Also available on demand by going to our website at ncwlife.com. Seahawks won a game that didn't count. The AppleSox lost a game that did count, but didn't really count, if you know what I mean. Plus, everything you need to know with sports coming up. We also have the obscure holiday, today in history, birthdays. Everyone is entitled to Mike Mignotti's opinion. And speaking of the AppleSox, we went and visited head coach Kyle a couple of days ago at Paul Thomas Senior Field. You'll see that conversation in the back half of the show. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Live this morning from Studio 8 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
Only one dealership in Wenatchee has Motor Trend's SUV of the Year and Truck of the Year. That's right, Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram has the all-new Jeep Wrangler and the all-new Ram 1500 pickup. Or get the best of both worlds in the new Jeep Gladiator. Visit Town Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram today for more information on these award winners and see why there's no reason to leave town to buy your next vehicle.
How do you know when it's time to go to Boswell's Furniture? When you know the look you love, the colors you want, but need a little design help to bring it all together. With Boswell's complimentary design service, Glenn, Buffy, and Teresa guide you until your vision becomes reality. More styles, more fabrics, and more choices of quality home furnishings fill Boswell's expansive 2-story showroom so you can see it and feel it before you buy. Come into Boswell's and explore the endless possibilities of home furnishings. Boswell's on Easy Street. It's closer than you think.
Welcome back. As you can see, we have some light rain all over north central Washington, 65 degrees, intermittent rain, some thunderstorms, a distinct possibility right through Sunday, and considerably cooler temperatures than what we've been having. It's been hot, and the AppleSox have been hot. And now the Seahawks, they're hot. They chalked up a victory. The game didn't count, but still, a victory is a victory. Seattle defeating Denver last night. Our very own sports director, Eric Granstrom, was there and has the details.
Well, the Seahawks pulled off a victory on Thursday night at CenturyLink Field in their first preseason game against the Denver Broncos. 22-14 was the final. Definitely not a clean game with a lot of penalties, a lot of mistakes, a couple of bumps and bruises. Now, Coach Pete Carroll says he's not so concerned about the end score, but about giving young guys a chance to play.
It was such a huge night of opportunity for so many young guys, and you know, you never know what you're going to get on this first time out. This is the first time we tackled full speed live, and it's what we saved the games for, to do that. And there was no question our guys were going after it. I thought that the thing that I liked the most was the statement that the special teams made that. They want to do something. They want to be something, and a big part of this team. And the effort on the coverage was just fantastic, and they had a blast.
One of those young guys that did very well was against his former team. Paxton Lynch completes 11 of 15 passes for 109 yards and a touchdown. That touchdown to a guy who could become a household name by the end of training camp, Jazz Ferguson. He had 4 catches for 54 yards and that score on the night. Lynch says he wasn't worried about the other team on the sideline. He was worried about his own team and about trying to show them that he belongs.
It had nothing to do with that. It was more to me just I had a lot to prove to myself tonight, so I feel like I went out there and did that. I just wanted to show myself all that hard work I had put in had paid off. You know, I had a long off season basically. While everybody else was playing, you know, I was at home, I wasn't playing, I was watching on TV, so I know I was working hard, I was building myself up, believing in myself and trying to get back to where I was and trying to figure out how I could do that. So I was excited when Seattle gave me the opportunity to come here, and I'm glad that they gave me the opportunity to go out there and do what I did tonight.
So the Seahawks improved to 1-0 on the preseason as they get the victory. The things they'll need to clean up by the time they play Minnesota in 10 days, penalties. In fact, 15 penalties for 131 yards. The two teams combined for 26 penalties and 225 yards on the night as it went well past 10 o'clock. But the Seahawks get the victory, again 22-14 the final. At CenturyLink Field, I'm Eric Granstrom on the NCW Life Channel.
Thank you, Eric, for that report. Seahawks return to practice at the VMAC beginning next week. They have a long break before their next preseason game. They don't play again until Sunday, August 18th, when they play at Minnesota. Well, the winning streak for the AppleSox was snapped last night in a big way. Visiting Ridgefield Raptors crushed them. The final was 16-3. The game was tied at 3 heading into the top of the 8th inning, and that's when the wheels fell off the apple cart for the AppleSox. Ridgefield brought 14 men to the plate. They scored 9 runs. They also scored another 4 in the 9th. To gain the victory, Wenatchee travels to Corvallis tonight for the first of the final 3 games of the regular season. First pitch, 6:35. To the West Coast League scoreboard from last night, courtesy of Les Schwab. Mitch Lines and 3 relievers combined on a 4-hit shutout. Victoria beat Port Angeles 9-0. Andy Atwood's 2-run base hit in the 5th inning was the difference as Corvallis edged Bellingham 2-1. Seth Beckstead was 2 for 3 with an RBI base hit in a 3-run first inning for Cowlitz. The Black Bears topped Yakima Valley 3-1. And Zach Neum had a 2-run home run for the Elks as Bend won a seesaw battle with Portland 9-7. Let's go ahead and check the divisional standings in the West Coast League as we head down the stretch. Victoria now has a full game lead on Wenatchee in the second half standings at 18-6. The AppleSox dropped to 17-7. In the South Division, Corvallis continues to run away with it at 18-6. They already won the first half as well. Portland and Cowlitz are both tied for second at 13-11. Let's take a look at the weekend sports schedule. The Eastern Regionals men's softball tournament happening at Walla Walla Point Park tomorrow and Sunday. And it seems awfully early to talk about Christmas, but the Les Schwab Community Toy Drive gets a jump on things during Les Schwab night at the Wenatchee Valley Super Oval tomorrow. Folks will be out gathering your donations as the WVSO brings you the Twin 51 Lap Double Main Event. Skates open at 4:30. Racing to follow. And head to Appalachia. The Pattern Speed Horse Association hosting their state games finals at Appalachia. It began yesterday and runs through Sunday. And the horses and the riders don't have to worry about the oppressive heat. And that's just some of the games that people are playing on this Friday. It is the 9th day of August, 2019, the obscure holiday of the day today. We have a President's Day. We celebrate that in February. It's a federal holiday. We also have a Vice President's Day. It is today. Today's National Veep Day in honor of Gerald Ford. We all know what happened on this day back in 1974. We'll get to that with Today in History in just a little bit. There have been 45 presidents in this country's history. There have been 48 vice presidents for reasons I don't want to get into now. In the history of this country, 14 vice presidents eventually became president. The people elected only 5 of them. The rest of them became president because their predecessor died or quit. Vice presidents who eventually became presidents because their predecessors died: John Tyler, Millard Fillmore, Andrew Johnson, Chester Alan Arthur, Theodore Roosevelt, Calvin Coolidge, Harry Truman, and Lyndon Baines Johnson. And then you have Gerald Ford, who was the vice president who became president and was not elected to either office, of course. Nixon's first vice president was Spiro T. Agnew. He got caught with his hand on the till. He quit in 1973. Gerald Ford got the gig, and then Gerald Ford's boss later resigned, so Ford ascended to the presidency. Of course, Gerald Ford is the only president who was neither elected to the position of vice president or president, but he got the job anyway, and in honor of that, because it happened on this date, back in 1974, we honor the vice presidents of the United States. Probably a good gig, I assume. I don't know. I don't want to be the vice president. It just would not be a job I would enjoy. Happy Veep Day for all you vice presidents out there. That's your obscure holiday at 28 minutes after the hour. It is the 9th day of August. Let's do Today in History. 74 years ago today, of course, 3 days earlier, we had dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima. We thought that would probably get the Japanese to say, okay, we're done, we quit. Didn't work, so we had to drop another bomb. This one landed on Nagasaki. Nagasaki was not the original target. It was a different military city, but it was completely fogged over, so their secondary target was Nagasaki. The bomb is called the Fat Man. It was dropped by the B-29 boxcar. The reason that they dropped it on Nagasaki was because they were also running out of gas, and they had to drop the bomb. They couldn't fly back with the bomb. So they dropped the bomb, a second bomb. 35,000 people were killed instantly. Most of those were Japanese war workers. A few civilians died as well. And finally, Imperial Japan got the message, and a couple of days later they said, okay, we're done. We don't want any more atomic bombs. But the second and final atomic bomb ever dropped came down in the States 74 years ago in Nagasaki. August 5th, 1965, every country in the history of this world gained their independence from their overlords by rising up and demanding religious freedom and rights, and the oppressed didn't want to be oppressed anymore, and that's how you gained your independence, right? And then you have the strange case of Singapore, who gained their independence because it got kicked out of Malaysia. Yeah, on this date in 1965, Singapore was expelled from Malaysia, and to this date is the only country ever to gain their independence, even though they didn't really want it. They just got kicked out of the country they were already in. Singapore expelled from Malaysia on this date in 1965. Hey, you know, independence is independence, I guess. This, of course, has been on the news quite a bit with the brand new Quentin Tarantino movie. 50 years ago today, August 9th, 1969, I should say, members of the so-called Manson family murder 5 people in and around a home in the foothills overlooking Los Angeles, California, from the CBS News archives.
We have a weird homicide.
In a scene described by one investigator as reminiscent of a weird religious rite, 5 persons, including actress Sharon Tate, were found dead at the home of Miss Tate and her husband, screen director Roman Polanski. Miss Tate, who starred in Valley of the Dolls, was 8 months pregnant and was found in a bikini-type nightgown with a rope around her neck attached to the body of a man.
2 bodies inside, 2 bodies outside.
Among the other victims were Hollywood hairstylist Jay Sebring and coffee heiress Abigail Folger. Authorities would allow no one in an unofficial capacity inside the posh $200,000 home in the hills overlooking Los Angeles. When police arrived, they found the telephones and electricity lines cut. The bodies had been dead about 12 hours. They were discovered this morning by a maid who ran screaming to neighbors. One officer summed up the murders when he said, "In all my years, I have never seen anything like this before."
50 years ago today, and finally August 9th, 1974. There's the actual letter that Richard Nixon wrote to the Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, saying, "I quit." As a direct result, of course, of the Watergate scandal, Richard Nixon became the first president of the United States to resign from office. Vice President Gerald Ford took office again from the CBS News archives.
There is the man who will be president in another couple of hours, Gerald Ford and his wife, Betty Ford.
Vice President Ford this morning, as he left his home to come here for this occasion, said it was indeed one of the saddest incidents that he's ever seen. And there's the president waving goodbye, and you hear the applause.
Air Force One, which was carrying Richard Nixon, by the way, at the time, was somewhere over the Midwest at 12 noon Eastern when Gerald Ford took the oath of office and his resignation became official, and they had to change the call letters of Air Force One because Richard Nixon was not the president anymore. It happened 45 years ago today. And finally, at 33 minutes after the hour, we got some celebrity birthdays, including legendary actor Robert Shaw. There he is, of course, Quint in Jaws. He was so good in that movie. A Man for All Seasons. He was fantastic. And, of course, Doyle Lonnegan in The Sting, one of the greatest movies ever made. In fact, Robert Shaw saved The Sting. Nobody wanted to play Doyle Lonnegan, the bad guy in The Sting, and they weren't going to make the movie. And finally, Paul Newman flew to London, hand-delivered the script to Robert Shaw so he would participate in the movie The Sting, and he agreed to. And if you watch The Sting, you'll notice his character, Doyle Lonnegan, has a limp. That wasn't acting. Robert Shaw was playing a handball a couple of days before they started filming the movie in Los Angeles, and he slipped and sprained his ankle. The limp that you see Robert Shaw do in The Sting is a real limp. He was actually hurt. Robert Shaw, born in the state in 1927, died at the age of 51 in 1978. Speaking of actors, Sam Elliott, doing pretty good, 75 years old today. Mask, Roadhouse, Tombstone, The Big Lebowski, of course, and the voice of Smokey Bear. Sam Elliott is 75 years old today, and Whitney Houston was born on this date 56 years ago today. She died, of course, a number of years ago at the age of 48, the only artist ever to chart 7 consecutive #1 hits on the Billboard Hot 100. Whitney Houston was born on this date in 1963. We are going to take a break. When we come back, what's on Mike Magnotti's mind? We'll find out, because everyone is entitled to Mike Magnotti's opinion. And then a couple of days ago, my producer Megan and I went to Paul Thomas Senior Field, and we sat down and we had a nice little conversation with Kyle Krustangel, the head coach of the Wenatchee AppleSox, and you'll see that when we come back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Friday edition on the NCW Life channel.
We're here because of the children, because the children need to be protected. Their needs aren't being met.
They didn't ask for any of this stuff. It's not their choices that got them here.
The more adults that a child has that love them, the better off they are.
Children need a whole community to raise them. And if we can do any little thing, it makes a big difference in the child's life.
AC Checker has new owners who put customer service first. When you have to get there on time, call fast, friendly, reliable AC Checker, 663-TAXI. AC Checker has the industry's only on-time or it's free guarantee. Conditions apply. Call AC Checker, 663-TAXI to schedule your cab or schedule online at acchecker.com. Call American Classic Taxi, 663-TAXI. That's 663-8294.
My name is Brian Thorpe. I own Global Car Care in Wenatchee and have been here for about 25 years.
Brian started Global Car Care as Brian's automotive alternative on Orondo Street.
Some customers were following Brian since Brian's automotive time.
No, we're just grateful to be part of this community. This is where I grew up. We want to do our part to be a valuable part of this community. We want to thank you for trusting our business for 25 years.
At Doghouse Motorsports, we ride what we sell. There's a lot we could say about the CD Spark and the CD GTI, but ultimately, the ride says it all.
Hi, this is Brian Snyder with Black Rock Asphalt Services here in Wenatchee, your local Black Rock seal coat company. Have you looked at your driveway or parking lot lately? Is it gray and oxidized? Does it have cracks that have not been taken care of? Or do you have striping that is pretty much non-existent? Please give us a call locally here, 509-665-9769. Learn more at blackrockasphaltsealcoating.com.
Badger Mountain Brewing is proud to announce the grand opening of our new kitchen. Come try out our new menu featuring fabulous steaks, prime rib, gourmet burgers, and seafood grilled up by experienced meat master, Chef Galen Goodman. To complement your mouth-watering meal, Badger Mountain Brewing features 14 in-house crafted beers, an alcohol-free root beer infused with 11 different herbs and spices, 3 different ciders, and a great wine selection. Don't miss out on the best meats and the best brews down at Badger Mountain Brewing.
Located at 1 Orondo Avenue across the tracks from the Pybus Market.
This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody's entitled to my opinion. Now, I'm a regular churchgoer. Yeah, good for me, right? But sometimes I run into people who used to go to church, but they don't anymore, and I ask them why. And they often say something like this: I had to miss church for 3 weeks in a row, and no one called me to see if I was okay. Now, my response to them is, why do you think people go to church? They're specifically looking for you. Sure, it would be nice if we noticed other people or the lack of them more than we care about ourselves, but come on, really. Blaming other people for your deciding not to go to church is kind of lame, don't you think? This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
The best pizza in the known universe is right here in downtown Chelan, so come on up. For the best locally crafted beer and barbecue in Chelan, come on up.
For the best down-home scratch country cooking in north central Washington, you'll find it in Manson. Come on up.
Come on up. Come on up.
Come on up.
Transform your windows with a variety of colors and styles like the Allure Transitional Window Covering by Lafayette Interior Fashions. Hi, this is Darren with Mini Blinds and More. We can install the latest and greatest in technology to open and close your blinds with only a touch of a button. From the largest windows in your home to room darkening shades for the bedroom. From stylish shades for your entertainment room to custom blinds for those hard-to-fit places. We have a solution for all of your window covering needs. We offer a variety of window coverings from Lafayette Interior Fashions. Call us today. We are Mini Blinds and More, your local blind store.
Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. The only thing hotter in the Wenatchee Valley than the weather is the Wenatchee AppleSox. They have put together a great second half of the season. Despite a fluid roster, they are playing about as good as baseball as they've played in quite some time. And I know it's not all on Kyle Krustangel's shoulders. Yes, he's the head coach. It's the players who make it happen. But the run that this team has been on, Kyle, over the last 2.5, 3 weeks is just phenomenal.
Yeah, it's you can never expect 13 wins in a row. We talked about 15 games ago, taking it one game at a time. Usually we take a 3-game series at a time, but we were kind of at a push where we had to win games to be in this spot. And the guys knew it and we knew it, and they just kind of bought in. The next guy up. Obviously, the roster turnover is insane with every team this time of year. But it's been a fun ride, and look to continue on to the rest of the regular season.
And the fans have played a significant role in these last sweeping Yakima Valley over the weekend. The fans were just into every game and every pitch.
Yeah, fans and the support have been awesome. I mean, we always have a good base of fans, but I feel like there's a lot more here. They're staying to the end. They're all standing up and clapping for that last out with 2 strikes, 2 outs in the bottom of the ninth. So it's been great. The players really do feed off that. I think it's definitely, there's a reason why we have so many home wins in a row is they're excited to play for the Wenatchee crowd, Wenatchee Nation as they call it. But again, it's definitely been awesome down the stretch, and need to keep the support here with that push to playoffs.
You mentioned the fluid roster, and it happens really twice a year. It happens at the start of the year when you're still trying to build your roster, and a lot of guys are still in school. They haven't been released from their springtime college baseball commitments. And now this time of the year, in August, when they have to go back to their commitments. And so there's been a lot of moving parts, and yet you mentioned next man up. It doesn't seem to affect the team at all.
No, I guess to address the first part is you can plan for the beginning of the year. You know that schools are going to be in until middle of June. We sign our 10-day guys. This is the part of the year that you can't predict. Is the new coaching carousel happens at Division I level. Their coaches want to get their guys here earlier. So some of the dates we thought guys were leaving all of a sudden gets pushed up a week. There's not a ton of guys sitting around, laying around just to kind of add on the roster. So us and the staff have been on the phone. I know last night before the game I was answering a phone call an hour before the first pitch for a guy coming in today. So it's challenging, but when we're in this kind of situation, it's not just taking any guy to wear a jersey. It's taking best available. And that means we do have a few extra first basemen running around in the field, but we need their bats. And that's kind of why, we've hanged some big numbers up on some of these teams is we got the offense. And, the guys know that we have a good solid nucleus of guys that have been here the whole time. They know the way that we play and what's expected. And the new guys, they're just out there, A, having fun, and B, just helping us win. And that's kind of what it's about right now is anything for the win.
What are the challenges of filling in the blanks when you have so many first basemen, or how do you fill out a lineup? How do you know who bats where when you have that kind of roster turnover?
Yeah, the nucleus of guys, you have a couple of them that are on the top of the order, a couple guys in the middle, and really you're just kind of sprinkling around. After we see the guys play for one game, we kind of know where they fit. Sometimes it's body types, looking at who can run and who can't, and kind of you don't want a bunch of guys that clog the bases together. So it's challenging, but a lot of these guys too have also played for me in the past, guys that I've coached at Yakima Valley Community College that now are at their 4 years. So we try to sprinkle a few of those guys in because they know what the staff expects, and we kind of know them. And there's a guy like Torrin Montgomery who shows up here sight unseen. Boise State called and asked if we wanted him. We said yes. And the guy's as good of a hitter as possibly anyone in the West Coast League, and he's just graduated high school and turned down the Marlins in the draft. And what a special add-on in August. You don't find that kind of talent laying around.
And a local boy who I've been following for years, Dalton Harum, was a late season pickup, and he's raking the ball, hitting the ball over the fence, running the bases. The guy's a ball player.
He's phenomenal, and I really tried hard to get him on the team from the start. Virginia Tech wanted him to start kind of somewhere elsewhere. As he's changed schools, obviously he wanted to be back in Wenatchee. I've coached against him a long time as he was here at Wenatchee Valley College, and what a tremendous athlete. And what I didn't know about Dalton is just how good of a person he is. He's a rock-solid individual. Him and Johnny Sage have became like best friends, two very high moral individuals. So it's been really fun to get to know him on a deeper level instead of just seeing him hit the home run against me. It's nice having him drive some out of the yard for me.
You mentioned Johnny Sage, who earned the nickname this summer Johnny AppleSox. He was one of those players, an outstanding player at Purdue. He struggled at Purdue in his last year, but he really seemed to put things together really epitomized the team. How much in advance did you know that you were going to lose Johnny, that he had to go back to West Lafayette? Was that like, I got to go now, Coach? Or did you know a couple weeks ago that he was going to have to leave the team early?
We knew he was one of the few that we knew when he had to leave. We had him last year, and it was the same thing at last year. We knew first week of August. He's got a couple things going on with his family that he's taking care of for a few days, and then he'll head over back to Purdue. So we knew ahead of time. A couple of others, ones we didn't know, but like a Cody Colden, fans don't realize he's been playing hurt for the last couple of weeks. He just needs time off. And I think all the players that are coming from programs with new coaches, they know that they got to show up day one ready to go. The spots that they had could be lost. So, a couple of these guys need a few extra days to get their bodies healthy. So those are some of the ones that we didn't know. But no, Johnny AppleSox, we knew ahead of time we were not going to have him for the postseason. But he gave his heart and soul to this community. So, we couldn't have asked for anything else from him.
You mentioned injuries. How is the overall health of the team at this point of the season with just a few games to go?
I'd say it's okay. I'd say there's a couple guys that are banged up and bruised, but that's baseball. Altenberger was sick. It's nice having him back. But no, I think we're doing okay. I think we're probably ahead of the game with the injuries. Some people have lost guys for season enders, and besides Cole McKenzie, that was really the only big injury we had. So at this point, they want the postseason. They're hungry to play for a dog pile going through the championship. So they're just ready to go. They're used to being tired and sore, and the heat now is all of a sudden hot. So they're all right.
Is this a self-motivating team? You don't have to give a lot of rah-rah to this team, do you?
Not one bit, and that's very unique. I feel like in this day and age, we spend half the time being cheerleading coaches instead of baseball coaches. But no, this team just gets after it themselves. It's as close of a group as I've ever had in baseball. And it's funny because half the roster seems like they're new, but they just walk right in. They see what's a part of, and they're just having fun. I think that's why we're on this good streak is guys are having fun at the yard every single day. Sometimes we look in the other dugout, and you can tell they necessarily don't want to be here. And all of a sudden you have the 16-2 type games, and we're just enjoying being out here and winning baseball games.
And even though it's a young team, it seems to be a mature team. They seem to there's not a lot of juvenile delinquents running around.
No, not at all. Which is I think you hit the nail on the head. Is the core group we have is a little older, and they're kind of showing the ropes to the new guys. And the new guys, I think, are humble and grateful for the opportunity, and they want to use this as best the way possible, which is to go out there and represent us, the Sox, in the right way.
After the Ridgefield series, it's down to Corvallis. For the last 3 games of the year, Corvallis has been the team in the West Coast League for the last few years. That's a long road trip. Talk about the importance of bonding when you're on that charter bus for 7 hours.
That trip's very crucial for us, and it's crucial from everything except for on the field standpoint. With all the new guys, for us to make this postseason push and really play for the guy next to you, you got to know that the guy next to you is. Mm-hmm. And, so I know we'll have, they play this game called Mafia on the bus, and they'll have all their road rituals that they go through. So the new guys get a chance to see. It's really a chance for us to come together as a team, a chance for the staff to talk to the guys more, get to know them on a deeper level. So I'm really thankful that this last trip is one of our farthest trips because we need it to come together. And it's going to be a unique trip, depending what happens today and the next couple of days. We'll know if we're in the postseason before that trip or not. So, if us and Corvallis have both punched our ticket, we're not going to be using some of our normal pitchers as we want to save them for the postseason. So both teams might throw some position players, and so we'll see what happens down there. If it matters, then I know that we'll be ready to strap it up and get to work.
Let's talk pitching real quick. As most of you know, in the West Coast League, they're trying to hone their skills. For position players, it's not big of a deal. They can play almost all the time. But of course, you and your pitching coach are in a great deal of contact with the pitchers, coaches in college, and these guys are on a limited pitch count. You can't go out and throw complete games all the time. They don't want to. Last thing you want to do is have them go back to school with a bum shoulder or a bad elbow. So you have to always take that into consideration when it comes to a pitching staff, don't you?
Yeah, and I think I learned from my first year. My first year, we went out there and tried to, on my end, limit their work, but didn't really communicate as much with their coaches. Well, at the end of the day, it's their college coaches that are going to have the final say. So, like this year, I went ahead of time. We broke down everything in terms of what pitch count they want and how many innings. So we're now able to have, some good inning limits down the stretch here. So that way, it's not, having Jake Som go 1 inning. Mm-hmm. We want him to have a start and be able to go. So we're going to start kind of letting the guys go a little deeper. But it's a good communication to our pitching coach, and Tyler's got to work hard communicating with other pitching coaches. That's one of the toughest tasks that fans probably don't see is the work with the pitchers. Is no one wants to hurt the pitcher, and in this day and age, everyone is kind of scared of that. So we got to be able to manage that and have a few extra arms. But Coach Tyler's done a great job managing, and the pitchers have done a good job understanding what their roles are, and as much as they don't want to come out of some games, they know that's the expectation. So no, the staff's been managed, I think, in a great way, and especially down the stretch here, we have to have guys go log a good amount of innings.
Your owner, Jose Oglesby, has embraced technology. It's his background. That has really changed this year. He has really brought in some significant bells and whistles that you can use as a coaching tool, a scouting tool, and a teaching tool, right?
Yeah, I mean, the TrackMan is as good as it gets. It shows exit velo, launch angle, which are two kind of the buzzwords in the hitting world. But it also shows, where the pitch is coming out of a pitcher's hand, what the velocities are. I know the second we got TrackMan, Coach Savage at UCLA heard that we had it, and he calls me virtually after every of Jake Somm starts, wants the data. That way, as he comes into fall ball, they can look to say, hey, what's the hand speed on a breaking ball? Is he slowing himself down? Is the ball coming out of a different tunnel? So it's incredible data, and I think it's valuable for us, but it's even more of a selling tool as we add players, to next year's roster to say that we have it. And then we also have Synergy, which almost every Division I program uses during the spring. So it's just, this is stuff that you have to have. It's not baseball 20 years ago, it's now, and it's been nice that Jose is not just sticking up with the times, but also setting the standard for the league of what should be expected. So I've been really appreciative that, we're the ones, leading the pack, not just catching up to the pack.
What are the coaching challenges of walking that fine line between all of this new technology available, from launch angles to all of these things that we have now in the digital age, as opposed to 20 years ago, strap on the cleats and go play ball? You have to walk that line, don't you?
You do, and part of it is the coaching style. For instance, that we have a lot of home runs, but I'm not necessarily the biggest launch angle guy. Fly balls are the easiest there and catch. So for me, I've always been an exit velo guy. Is hit the ball as hard as possible. You want extra base hits, hit it harder. So it's but a guy like Dalton Harum is driven to launch angle. That's his swing. That's coaches he's had. So we have to have the education to be able to teach that. But at the same time, it's what's best for each player. I've never been a cookie cutter coach. A guys in the 9-hole just can't hit the ball to the yard. So we have to have a strategy for them. But the data is something we can just show the guys. And I think the millennials in this day and age, they want the data. They want the why. So for us to be able to teach something, but also have the data of why, there's no questioning anymore. They want to go out there and put in the work in the cages and then see the results, not just in the game, but also on the data. So it's awesome. It really goes hand in hand. Never had a problem with it, and I love using the data more to teach than anything else.
Is Paul Thomas Senior Field a pitcher's park or a hitter's park, or is it kind of neutral?
I think it depends if you're right or left-handed. If you're a lefty and the jet stream's blowing, you want to be a left-hand hitter. If you're Dalton Harum and the wind's usually blowing crosswind, it's definitely a pitcher-friendly park. So I'd say a combination of both. It depends, which way the wind's blowing on the given night.
Let's talk about the last second roster additions. Again, there's just a few more games left in the regular season, and hopefully a deep run to the playoffs. You guys got coming in just over the next couple of days that you've had to call up and say, come to Wenatchee, Washington. Where? Wenatchee. Come play for the AppleSox. We're making a play. Talk about some of the new players who we're going to be seeing over the next couple of days.
Yeah, next couple of days we're going to have Jashawn Simon, center fielder from Indiana Tech. Actually played here 2 years ago on a 10-day contract. He's as good of an outfielder as there is. Tanner Smith from University of Oregon, he was their 2-hole hitter, hit about 300, was supposed to be with us all summer, was rehabbing a back, finally got healthy, and he's going to be like a Torn Montgomery in terms of you just can't find this talent this late in the year, which is exciting. Bringing on Spencer Marenko, he's Mason Marenko from last year's younger brother. He's a YAC commit to me for CC, just more of a guy to use as needed. We have a couple two-way guys so that they can't play a position and pitch at the same time, so someone's got to go out there. Those would be some of the big changes, but honestly, the playoff rule is they have to have 5 games played to be playoff eligible. So down the stretch here, at the very end, we can't add anybody else. So it's been kind of a crazy, last few days for me of just getting guys in, but also making sure they're getting in the lineup to log those games.
You excited for the playoffs? I mean, we haven't quite punched our ticket, but assuming that we're back in the playoffs for the first time since 2013. Yep. We don't want to look ahead, but do you think this team has to take it all?
Yeah, I do. I think this team's ready to go. I think that everyone's given Corvallis because of their record. But this time of the year, I'll take our guys against anybody. Baseball's a game that comes down to momentum and comes down to team chemistry. And sometimes the most talented team on paper doesn't always win. And I feel like there's not a team closer than us. And when you're as hot as us, That thing is more important than talent. So do I think we have the talent to do it? Yes, I do. I think we have 3 or 4 really quality arms that can start, a couple good back-end guys, and we have the offense. It just comes down to who plays cleaner, who has the better defense, pitching and defense. And if we can go out there and field the baseball and have our stars log quality starts, I think we're just fine. But at the end of the day, the records go away. There's 4 teams that are all capable. It's what team can put together the best 3-game series, moving forward.
Baseball is fun by definition, and this team is fun. It's a fun team to watch, and they seem to be having a really good time, Coach.
They are. They're having a blast.
Yeah.
There's a lot of videos being posted of some of our guys dancing and hooting and hollering, and we got the socks. Socks are hot. Rally towel in our dugout that the guys are using constantly. So it's been a ton of fun. It makes showing up to the yard every single day a blast. I think the fans are seeing how much fun we're having.
Kyle, I'm going to give you the last word. If you want to look right into that camera lens right over there, and we want to thank the fans. I'm sure as we get close to the end of the season to make the playoff push. I'm going to give you the last word, Kyle. Go for it.
Hey, socks are hot. And we also want to thank the fans, as you said. But when I hear the final words, it's socks are hot. It's fun hearing the crowd, chanting and wearing the shirts that say that too. We're kind of embracing that hashtag socks are hot. So come on out and see the last few games and get to our playoff game.
Thanks for letting the NCAA Life channel, by the way, be a part of this great season for the AppleSox. We've really enjoyed televising the games.
Yes, thank you. It's been our players love it, fans love it. It's really been a huge addition to the quality product of the Wenatchee AppleSox. So we thank you as well.
Kyle, go Sox. Let's make a deep run to the playoffs, buddy. All right?
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it for having me.
My pleasure, and it's a beautiful day here at Paul Thomas Senior Stadium. Kyle Krustangel, the head coach of the Wenatchee AppleSox. I'm Dan Kuntz. We'll be right back. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCAA Life channel.
At Harvest Valley Pest Control, we know you are committed to making your home and business a healthy and pest-free place. Hi, I'm David. Give us a call and we'll give you a firm price over the phone and schedule a time that works for you. We will do an in-depth 30-point healthy home or business inspection and craft a customized plan of action designed specifically for your pest issue. Give us a call or visit our website today.
My name is Ralph Sorensen, and I own Homestead Vinyl Products. We make vinyl fencing. We manufacture the vinyl fencing here. We also sell and install vinyl fencing.
Along with that, Homestead Vinyl Products sells cedar, chain link, custom-designed vinyl pergolas, arbors, gazebos, and ornamental fencing. To view complete projects, check their website, homesteadvinylpr.net, or stop by their showroom in Entiat on Highway 97A.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around north central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special.
Presenting a whole new line of more powerful, more fuel-efficient tractors from Coyote. It may not be the kind your grandfather bought 60 years ago, but it's probably the kind he'd buy today. Test drive one at your local Coyote dealer.
Rose Tractor, quality brands you can trust year after year.
And we are back. Just a couple minutes to go on this Friday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Let's take a look at that weather forecast one more time. And there you go. Big change is happening right now. As we speak, a slow-moving low-pressure system is bringing us clouds, thunderstorms, locally heavy rain. It's all possible over the weekend. And we have a red flag warning. It's been going on now for a little while, and it's going to continue. As a matter of fact, the red flag warning remains in effect until 6 o'clock Saturday afternoon for all of eastern Washington because we have a continuing chance of thunderstorms. The chance of thunderstorms will increase as the weekend progresses. Occasional lightning strikes. Whenever an isolated thunderstorm pops up, of course, you have locally heavy rain. So it's a weather smorgasbord. So the forecast for today, scattered showers, isolated showers, thunderstorms. It's raining right now outside of our studios. And 64 degrees, certainly clouds. We're going to have clouds pretty much all weekend, all the way into Sunday. We're going to top off at 89 today, as you see there. We'll top off at about 85 on Saturday. Best chance of some isolated showers, thunderstorms, and even some lightning is really late this afternoon all the way through Saturday about noon or so, and then we'll be okay. After that, we should be okay. Anyway, we hope so. We need the rain, and we're getting it. Provided the show isn't canceled, I'll see you Monday. Take care. Bye-bye.